All right, hello and welcome to your restorative class. We're going to get into only about 4 postures in the entire class, so make sure you're dressed really warm, really comfortable, something you can relax into. You'll also need a few props to make sure that we're really supported in each shape. A yoga strap, if you don't have a yoga strap, anything that you can wrap around you, a belt, a tie, anything you might have. I have 2 blankets and a bolster and a set of yoga blocks as well. So we're going to take some time in between each one to make it really decadent to set ourselves up. So take one of your blankets and set it towards the top of your mat. But I'm going to invite you to kind of unroll it so you have a decent amount of fabric, something that we're going to be able to roll up like a burrito once we're laying down and place it underneath the cervical spine. So a decent amount of fabric just placed towards the head end of your mat. And when we come to lay down, this ridge of blanket will be just underneath the base of the skull above the neck. So that way we'll have the space to roll it. Your next blanket is going to be folded, so you have kind of a 1 or 2 inch thick amount of fabric. And you're going to place that, imagine if you were laying down, about right where your shoulder blades are going to land. And again, some of this might be kind of wiggling into the shape as we get there. Now your bolster is going to be towards the foot end of your mat. Imagine if you're laying down, your knees are going to be on the bolster once we're laying on our backs with your feet kind of hanging off one side. Now the strap we're going to turn into a loop to hold the thighs together so we're able to really just relax into this restorative shape. So taking your yoga strap, go ahead and turn it into a pretty decent sized circle by weaving the belt underneath the buckle and then pull on it so you know that it's nice and tight. Before we come onto our backs, we'll get the lower body set up first. So you're actually going to take this looped strap around your upper thighs and make sure you still have the buckle end where you're able to grab hold of that. Then go ahead and bring the bolster underneath your knees. And then you're going to tighten this loop that you've created with your belt around the mid-thigh enough so that the legs aren't necessarily touching, but your thighs can fall outwards, but still have something to lean into, as if you're just kind of giving them a little hug around the upper thighs. Now, once you have all of that, go ahead and start to come down and make sure this first folded blanket is right at your shoulder blades. So as you lay down, you may have to pull the knee bolster in a little closer. And before we add in the head one, you might feel as if your upper body is cascading downwards. So from like the chest to the head should kind of feel like a waterfall downwards. Now before we add in the head support, make sure the legs are still supported. And if you need to, tighten the strap a little bit more so the thighs have that sense of a hugging in with support, go ahead and make an adjustment. Once you feel like everything from the neck down is where you would like it to be, go ahead and reach your arms overhead and start to fold this blanket that's above you like you would roll up a burrito all the way until you have a nice support underneath the cervical spine. Now, because we have the blanket underneath the chest, the head should still feel as if it's cascading back, but now the neck and that cervical spine has the support it needs. And then let your arms do whatever's comfortable. They can rest out by the side. They can rest on your body. You can cactus shape them if that feels supportive. You can even take them overhead, but really what we're wanting to achieve here in our practice today is this restoring of our nervous system in these really supported, decadent postures. So use as many props as you have available and get yourself nice and comfortable. And once we're settled in, we're just going to come into some introspective practices. So staying in our stillness, landing in the silence, and bringing our awareness to the breath. So before you change your breath in any way, just start to breathe a little deeper, noticing how that feels. Perhaps noticing the rise and fall of the chest or of the belly. Feel the connection of your back body against your props and your floor. And I'm going to let you count for yourself, but we're going to have kind of a metronome style of breath. So if the eyes aren't already closed, I invite you to either close the eyes if that feels safe to do so, or just softening your gaze. And then we're going to take a 4-count inhale. We're going to hold the breath for 2 counts. And then a 6-count exhale. So 4 counts in, 2-count hold, 6-count exhale. Again, you can count slower or quicker depending on how your breath feels and supporting your respiratory system. Whenever you're ready, at the end of your next exhale, we'll begin, and again, counting for yourself. And as you continue counting with your breath, try softening through your jaw, softening through the shoulders and the muscle around the eyebrows. Let your legs melt outwards into the support of the strap and your feet just dangling off your bolster or resting on the floor. Anytime you notice your mind drifting or analyzing past things or storytelling of the future, acknowledge where the mind goes, and it's very natural. It's designed to do that. But then mindfully, non-judgmentally, bring that awareness back to the counting of your breath. And you may have to keep bringing your mind back multiple times in each pose. And that's part of the practice, is bringing this awareness to what's happening in the body-mind. So even if you have to do it over and over, keep bringing that mental awareness back to your breath. Again, anytime you notice that mind drifting, Lovingly bring it back to this present moment. It's in this curious awareness of the present moment that we can truly soothe the nervous system. And if you've lost the breath, come back to counting, that metronome rhythm-like count. 4 counts in, 2 counts to hold, 6 counts to let the breath go. Notice also if there's any tension creeping unaware or uninvited into the body. And re-soften these areas you may notice. And wherever you are in your breath, finish the one you're on and then take 2 more full counting breaths. And then slowly let go of that breath and allow your breath to return to its natural place, its natural rhythm, its natural depth. And we're going to come out of the shape as lazily as you can. Hopefully the body's already feeling kind of heavy and relaxed. As easily as you can. Maybe start to bring the knees more in towards the chest and just kind of roll onto your side body. And then once you're on your side, pause for a moment. Let the body just wake up a little bit, but try to stay as much as you can into this relaxed sensation. And then slowly start to press yourself up. And go ahead and loosen your strap enough that you can remove it from the legs. And we're going to come into a restorative twist. So for this one, go ahead and turn your bolster and bring it towards the head end of your mat, running longwise with the long edges. Go ahead and take the blanket that was underneath your shoulders and you're going to fold it one more time. So you're really creating maybe like 6 inches of fabric in this rectangle shape. So a nice thick fold of your blanket. The blanket that was used for the head, go ahead and unroll it from its burrito-like shape. And we're going to fold it a couple times and just place it towards the head end of your bolster, something that your head can come to rest on comfortably. We'll start on the right side, so bring the bolster close towards your right thigh and then stack your knees one on top of the other. Now the knees being stacked, we're going to take that blanket fold, the really thick one, and place it right in between the knees or the upper thighs if that feels more comfortable for you. Go ahead and bring your hands to frame the bolster so we're coming into a little bit of a twist. And then from there, lengthen your spine enough that this first rib can find the bolster, and then lower yourself all the way down with the side of your head finding the blanket so your head's a little bit more elevated than the rib cage. Walk your arms out from underneath of you so you're not pressing into them anymore, but the bolster and the floor are holding you in this restorative twist. Make any adjustments with the blanket in between the legs that might feel helpful. And let the side of your head be really heavy. And just feel yourself landing into this next shape. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to that breath, but this time we're going to add a hold at the end of the exhale. So it'll still be a 4 count inhale, a 2 count hold, 6 count exhale, and a 2-count hold after the out breath. And again, counting for yourself and setting this rhythmic style to the count. At the end of your next exhale, begin this relaxation breath. And what I invite you to focus on here is the space in the holds, these 2-count retentions, this yin aspect of the body. When you're holding the breath, notice the sensations that arise. And allow yourself to really experience this present moment. And again, any and every time you notice your mind wandering, lovingly and non-judgmentally, keep bringing it back to focusing on this breath and on this very moment that we're living in right now. And wherever you are in your breath, finish this round and then take 2 more rounds. And all we're going to do is roll over to the other side. So slowly walk your hands so they're closer to being underneath your body. And use your arms to push yourself up. And then keep this blanket between the legs and just roll onto the other side. And then now the left leg will be more in line with this bolster. Walk your hands out, supporting you in this twist. And then slowly lower yourself down. And once the bolster is supporting your weight, walk your arms out from underneath of you. And whenever you're ready, come back to that counting breath. 4 counts in, 2 count hold, 6 count exhale, and a 2 count hold again. Let your body be heavy, melting into your props. Let your side waist, the space between the floor, be heavy. Let your legs be heavy and supported with this prop in between them. And let your awareness linger in this moment of sensation and breath. wherever you are with this breath. Finish this round and then take 2 more rounds. When you're ready, slowly slide your hands so they're more being underneath of your body. And use your hands to press yourself up, slowly coming out of this twist. Take the blanket that was supporting your legs and set that off to the side. And take a moment just to come out of that shape. As we transition into our final shape, leave your bolster and the blanket the way they are, but you'll probably want your 2 yoga blocks and your strap. Now you can have your other blanket handy. It can be nice sometimes to have the weight of the blanket on the pelvis for this next one, or if you're in a space that's maybe a little chillier, you might want the blanket to physically just be on the body to warm you. Go ahead and take your big looped strap again and make sure the buckle is towards the front. So you're going to take the back end of the loop away from the buckle around your hips and low back. So you're putting the loop around your body. Now from there, make sure your hips are just a couple of inches away from your bolster. So there's just about an inch of space between your sacrum and the bolster. Once you have that, you're going to take the other end of this loop and you're going to wrap it around the outside pinky edges of your feet. So the loop is around the sacrum, and then you take the other end, feet together, and then wrap the other end around the feet. From here, go ahead and set your yoga blocks the outside of the knees so the knees have something to push into. And tighten your strap a little bit so you just feel like this snugging or hugging in sensation from the back of the sacrum to the feet, but not so tight it physically forces the feet off the floor. Here's where it can be nice to have that blanket handy. And then take your bolster, you're going to pull it in so you feel it up against your sacrum. And then slowly lower yourself down 1 vertebra at a time, perhaps placing your free blanket on your hips, the frontal hip region, just for a little bit of support. And then reach back to the blanket that was at the head, roll it up a couple times till you feel the support underneath the curvature of your neck. And then just let your arms rest towards the floor. Now, if something doesn't feel quite right, if the strap is too tight, take a moment before you settle in, make little adjustments so that you can really relax the body into the support of the props, so that the body is really just being passively held in this posture. But you're not actually doing any of the work or the effort. All of the props are holding you. So the body can feel quite decadent, quite relaxed and nourished and cared for. And once you have all of that, come back to your breath. At this time, we're going to start to transition into a breath that's really supportive for sleep and rest. And if you struggle with insomnia, this breath can be a really therapeutic one to help you find a deeper sleep. So we're going to inhale for 6 counts. We're going to hold for 7. We're going to exhale for 8. So again, I'm going to let you count so your rhythm can be either quicker or slower to honor how your breath feels. But in for 6, hold for 7, and exhale out for 8. And we'll spend a little bit more time in the suspended breath. And notice the sensations that arise while you're holding your breath for the count of 7. And see if as you exhale, you can't let your body relax even more. Again, inhale for 6. Hold for 7. And as you exhale, let your body feel heavier, like lead melting, grounding into the floor. And continue with this breath, counting for yourself. wherever you are in your breath. Finish that round and then take 2 more rounds. And then if you added a blanket on top of your hips, go ahead and set that off to the side. And then reach down, place your hands along the strap that's holding your pelvis and your feet together. And you're going to use that to pull yourself up. So once you have a hold of the strap, gently tuck your chin to your chest and pull yourself up, coming out of that shape. And then you can either just remove it from the feet or you can unbuckle the belt to get it off of your body. And set that off to the side. Remove the blocks from underneath of you. Let your hands come back behind you and slowly extend your legs long, leaning into the arms, and just gently rock the legs out. And then once your hips have rebounded and you feel okay, just pause for a moment in this stillness and take 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, audible sigh through the mouth. 2 more cleansing breaths just like that. And last one. And then slowly start to work your way into a seated shape. Any seated shape that feels nice for you, and bring the hands to the front of the knees or the shins, round your spine, tuck your chin in towards your chest. And then press the hands into the knees or the shins and extend your spine forward, pull the chin away from the chest, open through the collarbone. Let's do that 2 more times, nice and slow, just decompressing the spine, rounding and leaning back, hollowing out the belly. And then slowly extending the chest forward. And one more nice, slow, introspective pace. And then come back to center. Let your hands just rest into your lap, sitting up nice and tall, vertebra on top of vertebra. And take a moment to reflect over your practice, to see how your body-mind feels now. And notice any shifts that this restorative practice may have brought to your internal landscape. And I invite you to linger here in this noticing. Whenever you're ready, bringing your hands to your heart. And I want to thank you for sharing your practice with me today. From my heart to yours. Be well.